Hey, what's up, everybody? Hope you're doing great. This update is squarely focused on smoothing out a number of talent quirks and making underused nodes feel meaningful instead of wildly changing the class identity. The Stimm Lab, which is essentially the Hive Scum's bespoke Stimm branch, got the deep end of the rework, particularly the durability side of the tree. The dev note is pretty explicit that the aim was to make defensive talents more active in real play, rather than on paper. What that means mechanically is the swap from toughness regeneration effects that were only occasionally active to toughness replenishment effects that modify how much toughness you gain during the cartel special. So talents actually contribute during the stim's uptime rather than sitting idle between fights. That's a meaningful quality of life change for anyone who's been frustrated by talents that felt too situational. Digging into the numbers a little, and yes, I'll be paraphrasing the dev list here. Barrage I through 4 now grant a baseline toughness gain, 6.25%, along with plus 5% toughness replenishment and plus 4% damage reduction each. The toughness from Barrage itself isn't amplified by its own replenishment bonus, but the replenishment buff makes other toughness gains during the Cartel special more effective. The tank talent got bumped too, from 20% to plus 30% toughness replenishment, and Regain no longer dumps a single big chunk of toughness, but instead grants 5% toughness every second while the Cartel special is active. That steady tick change is subtle, but changes how you plan for incoming damage. Instead of timing around a single big heal, you get a slower, more reliable stream, which feels nicer in chaotic firefights. Outside of the Stimm Lab core, several individual talents receive practical adjustments. Cheap Shots now scales its strength bonus differently based on stagger level, plus 15% strength against medium and heavy staggered enemies, and plus 10% versus light staggered enemies, which should help the talent feel more consistent across enemy types. Nimble got relabeled to make its function clearer. It's now presented as dodge speed, and the dodge window bonus is a flat plus 0.15 seconds instead of a percentage, meaning it behaves more predictably across different dodge contexts. Rampage no longer slaps you with an exhausted state when it ends, so it's less punishing to use, and Channeled Aggression no longer needs Rampage to be above some arbitrary duration to activate. It's active throughout. Unload got a handy little change where it can refresh itself if triggered while already active, and it can be triggered by activating Desperado. Tiny rules that open up smoother combo potential and remove some of those "why didn't that proc" moments. If you've been experimenting with Pocket Toxin and Chem Grenade interactions, the patch clarifies and tightens those mechanics too. Pocket Toxin now applies differing stacks of Chem Toxin depending on the equipped blitz. Blinder and Blackout apply 3 stacks, Boombringer applies 6, and Chem Grenade now applies 10 on its initial blast. They also fixed the Chem Grenade's explosion radius so it actually matches what you see on screen, which means it can reliably trigger Pocket Toxin effects where previously the visual and hitbox didn't line up. The grenade's duration was trimmed from 20 seconds down to 15, bringing it more in line with other blitz-type abilities like Immolation Grenade. That radius and duration change feels like a net win for predictability. It's less about nerf or buff and more about consistency with visuals and other tools. Beyond talents and Stim tinkering, there's a handful of bug fixes and cosmetic polish that are worth calling out. Audio and visual annoyances were targeted. The looping shooting sound on the Ogren twin-linked heavy stubbers has been fixed so it no longer restarts every bullet, and a Desperado outline issue that appeared near Dreg Ritualists in the Dark Communion mission has been addressed. There were also fixes ensuring Needle Pistol Toxin damage correctly triggers Hive Scum talents like Speed Loader and Vulture's Mark, and a bunch of cosmetic corrections for weapon VFX, helms, barrettes, and armor clipping and physics. Those are the small quality of life things that stop your runs from feeling unpolished and reduce those little immersion breaking moments. If you want a sense of why some of these changes matter strategically, moving from conditional regen that only occurs in very specific states to replenishment that boosts the effectiveness of toughness when the cartel special is active, generally rewards active play during the stim window.